Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. We will start with some Christmas in August. The NBA today announced their 5 games that will be played on Christmas Day. Boston at Milwaukee, Atlanta at the Knicks. Phoenix and Golden State will get together. The Nets will travel to L.A. to face the Lakers. And Dallas and Utah will round out the day in Salt Lake. The NBA will drop their entire schedule later this week. The national champion Husker bowling squad released their docket for the year. Huskers will start this season on Friday, October 22nd at the McKendree Bearcat Open. That's one of 3 events during the fall. The remainder of the schedule will be after the holidays, including the Huskers' own event, February 25th through the 27th. Check of the Major League Baseball scoreboard, one final. First of a doubleheader, a day-night doubleheader between the Yankees and the Red Sox. New York beat Boston 5-3. They're about ready to get their nightcap underway. It's also about to start in D.C., the Nationals and Blue Jays matching up. The Cubs and Reds getting together in Cincinnati tonight. Angels in Detroit to battle the Tigers. Orioles and Rays down in Tampa. Braves and Marlins in Miami. Later tonight, it'll be the Royals hosting the Astros. The Brewers in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. Seattle in Texas to battle the Rangers. The Indians and Twins getting together in Minneapolis. Oakland in Chicago to match up with the White Sox. Padres and Rockies in Denver. Phillies in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, Mets and Giants in San Francisco, and Pirates and Dodgers in Los Angeles. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, goes off. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the 5th. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to our program. Thought we'd try to chill everybody down a little bit with a Christmas reference in the ticker with the NBA putting out their Christmas Day schedule.
I was thinking, God, too soon. I love the NBA, but it just ended.
Well, they're already rolling that out. They're going to have their full schedule. They put out their openers today and the Christmas Day schedule, which that's a big day for the NBA. They kind of dominate.
It's huge, yeah. The ratings are off the charts. And it's great to have something to watch on Christmas.
Sure is.
So.
You kind of unwrap the presents and then you're ready for something else. And so NBA kicks on about 11 o'clock in the morning is when they get their day going. But does it bother you how quickly stores put their Christmas stuff out? Like, the Targets and Walmarts of the world.
Yes, because
it'll be in about a month. They'll probably have their Christmas stuff out.
Oh, yeah, because I'm a big Thanksgiving person, and I feel like Thanksgiving gets swept underneath the rug for Christmas.
It does. I did see a lot of Halloween stuff at places over the weekend. Was out in some stores, so They've already had that out. So, but you're sitting here and it's 90, 91 degrees. It's hot out. The heat index is close to 100. Cool things off a little bit, right?
Yeah, there you go.
How about that?
We missed Christmas in July, so.
Exactly. A month late on that already. All right, here's what we have on the program tonight. Going to chat with Jay Moore, former black shirt, former NFL 4th-round draft pick of the Niners. Get his take on Huskers defense as we get ever so close to this opening game with Illinois. We've had Jeremiah on a couple times, and he loves to focus in on that offensive line, naturally so. So we thought we'd talk about the black shirts with Jay Moore. So looking forward to his chat coming up here in a couple of minutes. And then later in hour number 2, Dr. Lawrence Chatters, who's the recently named Senior Associate AD for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, is going to be here. He is a fun guy to chat with, and I think people hear that term, and they're not quite sure what all that entails. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with him.
Yeah, and he's a DJ. And so has done a lot of radio.
That's
so
right.
When he was kind of going around, he introduced himself and said, hey, I love radio. So I was like, we got to get you on.
Yeah.
So he has some fun kind of, tidbits about most popular songs requested because he still does DJing on the weekends
right?
and stuff. But He was not part of, Trev did not bring him on. It was already in the works, but Trev has said how impressed he is with the work he's already doing and loves the student athletes. And that's, you have got to have a passion and love and a heart for the student athletes. And he does, no doubt about it.
He does. He's got that infectious personality. He's a Nebraska guy, grew up in Bellevue. So he'll be here in hour number 2. And we'll get into that topic with him. Also, we're in hour number 2, going to hear from some women's basketball players, all from down under, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story how they all kind of knew each other. Of course, the basketball world in Australia is pretty small, especially if you're, an up-and-coming talent and, one of the top recruits from Australia. So they all knew each other, played against each other growing up, played with each other for the Australian national team. So we did a sit-down podcast for the Huskers Radio Network podcast, but we took a clip of that, so you're going to get a sneak peek here. But they were fun to talk to for sure. So, and I think going to provide a lot of highlights inside PBA this year.
2 have played here. Jazz Shelley is a transfer from Oregon and has a reputation of being a really good shooter.
Yeah, she does. And Jazz and Izzy played together on the national team and did a lot of the pick and rolls. So apparently that's transferred right over here, and they kind of got a feel for each other what to do off the pick and roll because, as you mentioned, Jazz can shoot it.
Yeah.
We've seen Izzy can take it to the rack. So, that's a good 1-2 punch there. And Ruby is an energy type of player. She said that's what she kind of likes to do, and you can tell by talking to her that she's an energy type of person. So they were fun to talk to, and I think going to provide a lot of depth and talent for this team this year.
Looking forward to hearing that. That's during hour number 2. We had a little news about that program last week when their non-conference schedule finally came out, and I think we're just a couple of weeks away from the full schedule to be released. The conference usually comes out late August, early September, and we're basically to that point for both the men's and women's Big Ten schedule. So looking forward to doing that. Earlier today, I noticed that another NIL deal with Lexi Sun came out, and this is with Borsheim's, an Omaha company that deals with memorabilia. They also have a jewelry line, and Lexi's has some of it on, kind of a modeling thing. She put out a couple tweets with her with some of the jewelry from Borsheim's. So another good opportunity for her with this NIL.
I think it's been fascinating how, coming here to Lincoln and Nebraska and with the NIL kind of being in the works, how everyone, had talked about that she was going to be the number one athlete, stand to benefit from NIL and her following and whatnot, and the kind of the numbers that Open Doors has put out about her. But, she's so impressive the way that she's kind of handling everything, because she could probably sign up for anything and everything. There's a lot of people that I'm sure are knocking at her door, but she's being very conscientious about, the brands and the companies that she partners with, that she uses her name to help. And she's very, very conscious about her brand and isn't going to just do it just to do it. She wants to believe in the product that she's helping to sell. So I think you're going to continue to see, there's been two big things that have come out with her. I think there probably will be a few more, but it's not like it's going to be a massive free-for-all coming out, because I think she's going to really be thoughtful about some of the deals that she's doing.
Borsheim's a new partner for us here at the Huskers Radio Network. They're known as Warren Buffett's Omaha Jewelry Store, and they announced the line, the Lexi Sun Edit, a stunning selection of simple, chic jewelry to incorporate it into your everyday style. Go check them out, Borsheim's. You can follow them on social media, and they have a website as well at borsheims.com. So there's Lexi. Good for her. I think this is fantastic that she's landing these deals.
And again, just kind of, I don't know Lexi super well, but she's been around. She's been working in the Corn Crib with the digital media team, and that what she kind of posted today, that line looks like her, right?
It does.
So, she's not going to be one that's going to put things out, as I was just talking about, that's not her, that she wouldn't wear, that she wouldn't herself kind of, wear every day or whenever she might, wear jewelry. It's, again, being thoughtful about the products that she does. So I feel like it looks like her, what she had out today.
Saw that, and just kind of like Cam Jurgens with his. I mean, the hat fits Cam Jurgens, right? I mean, it's just they're making sense with their decisions, and it's a good sign to see him doing that. Yeah,
because again, Lexi's an athlete that could very easily be doing a bunch of deals with companies that maybe she doesn't necessarily that doesn't use or doesn't necessarily in her everyday life. promote or want to be a part of, but she's making sure that it's the kind of brands that represent her own personal brand.
Absolutely. Kind of dovetailing with that, a big story nationally in the same realm, Oregon Ducks football star Kayvon Thibodeau, who looks like he has a potential to be the number 1 pick next April in the NFL draft. He's a terrific defensive player for the Ducks. He has entered into an agreement with United Airlines. United Airlines is going to put together some certain flights out of cities for big college football weekends. And one of them that they have is going from Eugene to Columbus, Ohio. Early in the season, the Ducks play the Buckeyes, and so they're going to have a couple of extra flights they've added just to take fans from point A to point B. They're doing the same thing for Ohio State to Lincoln in early November. They're added some flights, straight direct flights, which they don't have normally, from Columbus to Lincoln to do this. But Kayvon Thibodeau signed a pretty big deal with an airline, a reputable airline in United Airlines, and so he's profiting off this new deal.
I like that deal. Getting direct flights into college towns for college football weekends, that's awesome. I like that.
It's a good thought process by United to think out of the box and go, where do we have the ability to just set it up for a weekend, 4 or 5 flights, make some extra money, get fans from there to there without having to hop through a Chicago or something like that. I think it's a great idea by their part.
Well, and that, fans will capitalize on that if they know, okay, this is going to be in place. And yeah, I think that was, like you said, very thought out, smart. If you could sign up some college towns and college town airports to be a part of that, that'd be awesome.
We're kind of slowly, Jessica, seeing some of these deals come out. I don't know what we expected back on July 1st, whether it was just going to be an avalanche of things. That didn't happen. Lexi did announce her clothing line on that day. But I think it is going to be kind of a slow drip coming out from a lot of these companies once they kind of get their arms around and who they want and how they want to do it.
Well, I think just because, July 1st was the date and Nebraska was ready for it, but a lot of states were not. There was not anything in place for a lot of these states. The legislation was and then some of the states that even had it, it was a very hurry up kind of deal. So I think a lot of companies didn't really know what was going to be legal, what we could do. And then, like you said, just kind of thinking about, okay, now that this is doable and allowable, what's going to be the smartest thing for us? And that takes time to kind of come up with those kinds of deals and the marketing kind of thought process behind it. So I think it was kind of a filling out process, kind of like we said, I kind of thought the floodgates would kind of open up, but also thought, well, maybe people are kind of taking this slow, trying to figure out what's going to be best for their company, but also the athletes, kind of what's going to be best for them, and kind of figuring out where it's not just a free-for-all type of thing.
We've had some folks who've reached out to us and kind of want to know more about what's Nebraska's COVID-19 policies all about. Well, Trev Alberts today did release kind of the policies for Nebraska. And as he said, we've submitted that to the Big Ten. We're waiting for the Big Ten to collect all 13 other members' COVID policies, and then we'll kind of come out with a blanket statement from the league office. Everything Nebraska did made perfect sense about how much time you have to quarantine or isolate if you're around a close contact or if you test positive, if you've been vaccinated, if you test positive. There are different stairs and all that. The Big 12 today did come out with a formal statement saying if a team cannot field a team because of COVID reasons, they will forfeit the game. The Big Ten hasn't gone that far yet. I hope they do, Jessica. I hope they do, because I think we're far enough into this, to the protocols and all those things, that if you can't have enough people to play a volleyball match or a football game or a basketball game, I think you should have to forfeit.
So is the Big Ten the only conference, Power 5, that hasn't officially said about a forfeit? Because I know the SEC, Big 12, and had in the Pac-12. I haven't heard anything about the ACC.
I don't either. I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
So,
but the Big Ten is still kind of last in this thing.
But at least 3 of the 5 have come out and said, forfeits are going to happen. And, I've talked about it a couple of times that Trev mentioned that about the importance of that you can't afford to lose a home game. You can't afford to have a loss on the schedule. So it's definitely something that's being encouraged and pushed. And again, I think that's everywhere, being that's what's going to happen. Right. That's the outcome if you cannot put a full team on the football field.
Well, we've all grown up, right, with youth athletics and stuff. And sometimes if you don't have enough, you can't round up enough guys to play a baseball game or a softball game, you forfeit, right?
Right.
You can't. It's not the other team's fault. You didn't have enough bodies to play. Somehow there should be some consequence.
It's not like baseball and softball. You can just take it out, right?
Some leagues do that. I think slow pitch softball leagues. They say, yeah, automatic outs here. You got 2 outs in the inning now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to play because of that
Did
a couple
you?
times in high school. So, but, I don't know about college, how that works if you can't.
I think it has to be a forfeit.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, it has been until COVID came, and then COVID, everybody's like, well, it's a different deal. So I think it's fine that these leagues are doing that. Trev did speak to a Chamber of Commerce group today in Lincoln and kind of hit on some of the same things you heard him talk to the broadcasters last week about. And he did openly admit with this whole realignment topic that the TV networks are kind of driving the bus on this thing.
Well, it's where the money is, right?
Yep.
And it's where what's going to be invested. When you talk about, realignment and the money that Oklahoma and Texas are about to get from the SEC, that is from the ESPN and the TV deal. So that's that. I mean, where else is the money going to come
Right.
from? So it's definitely the driving force behind it. So Fox needs to get with the program and start kind of making some bids.
No doubt. All right, that's what we have on the program tonight. If you have some thoughts about any of that, 402-413-2400, call or text. Also, we're up on our YouTube stream, and there's a chat room in there. You can jump in and have some fun with some fellow Huskers and fire some things at us as well. When we come back, former black shirt Jay Moore will join us. We'll talk Husker defense. His thoughts about this group next.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Husker fans, looking for a seat in Memorial Stadium? Custom 3-game mini plans are available now for only $195. Choose any combination of the 6 games available. Matchups available in the 3-game plan include the home opener versus Fordham, Buffalo, Northwestern, Michigan, Purdue, and Iowa. Don't miss this opportunity to join the greatest fans in college sports and help fill Memorial Stadium. To build your mini plan, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back Sports Island here on a Tuesday night. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you, and delighted to be joined now on the program by a former black shirt, Jay Moore. Great to have Jay with us tonight. Hello, sir. How are you? How's your summer been?
G Sharp, it's been good. It's been a good summer. Thanks for having me on.
What's your handicap down to now?
Oh, I had a feeling you were going to ask me that. It's good enough. Can I put it that way? I don't want to like put it out there. It's good enough. I've put enough work in there, so it's in a plus. It's in the plus category, so I'll put it that way.
Wow. Did you play golf before your football days were over or after? Did you pick it up?
I started my first time really playing golf was about the spring of my freshman year. I was roommates with Stu Bradley, and he had grown up playing golf. He's like, hey, we should just go out to Highlands and hit golf balls. And I'm like, yeah, let's go out there. And I did have a set of golf clubs. Now, granted, it was a set of, like a full set from Target. It wasn't anything to brag about. And we just started playing. And that was literally my first 18-hole round of golf I ever played in my life, and played and kind of got the bug. And Phil Bland was on the team, and he was a really good golfer. Like, Phil was really good. Like, he might have been a state champion in Colorado. So we had some good golfers on the teams. We just played, and the competitive bug just hits you, and made some nice. You're only able to play about 3 months out of the year when you're in college, or just playing football in general, right? So just made some nice strides and kind of got the bug and made the best of my time and being efficient with it. So yeah, it's the golf game is great. I'm glad it's kind of crept in my life.
By the way, we have a chatter on our YouTube. Andy Harris said that you're a solid player, but you can't beat Danny Woodhead on the course.
Oh,
wow, that's fair. So listen. Danny's a good friend of mine. We've played plenty of golf, but you can just check the score. I mean, Danny's beat me. Like there's records, right, of Danny beating me. He beat me the first 2 rounds at state match play, but I also beat him the first couple rounds at state am, and then I just beat him at to qualify for the state mid am. So the records are out there. So hey, he's beaten a few times, but I think I got Danny's numbers, so that's fine.
Love it.
That's great. Let's talk some football. You okay with that?
Absolutely. We can talk golf as you want, but I suppose we can talk football too.
We've talked an awful lot about the offense. I want to focus tonight on the defense. Where is this group in your eyes, and how good can this team be on that side of the ball?
They can be really good. I mean, I think you look at last year and what the secondary is able to do and what they returned. Cam Taylor-Britt, Muke, all those guys. I mean, a lot of those guys in the back end have played a ton of reps. But, I've said this a lot. Those guys, it's nice to have a good, solid core group of the back four. They can really well be they can provide a good foundation to your defense. But honestly, where the game's won is in your front seven, right? And so I look at, guys like Ben Stilley, Ty Robinson, Daniels, you look at your linebacker core, and I just look to there. I think you have a lot of guys coming back that played really a lot of good football, right? And a lot of live reps, live bullet reps, and games are won up front. Your front seven wins a lot of football, especially in the Big Ten, where it's a grind out. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Obviously, it advanced beyond that, but I still think there is something to winning up front, and I think that's just the way the game of football will always be. But I like what we have developed up front with Coach Teote and Coach Dawson and what they're able to bring along and advance and develop with those guys. And I think what we have going is good. And I think it's nice to have, the defense was definitely a strength of the team last year in the crazy COVID year. And now you have, some guys coming back, and you can, hopefully those guys can learn and learn from their mistakes they made the year before and advance what they're able to do. And then, you have a lot of guys come back to offense. So I think it's a good thing. And the defense can be hopefully a strength. But honestly, in the game of football, you want you want a strength to be your defense. But if you have a really good defense and a really good offense, that's obviously a making of a really good football team. But I like what we have coming back in 2021.
Yeah, we're hearing 2 and 3 deep on the defensive line. How much does that excite you? But honestly, how much does that help a football team when you have that kind of depth and not just, the bodies, but the not just quantity, but the quality of depth there too?
Yeah, it's really good because I immediately look to competition, right? So if you have a bad day in camp, I kind of caught this phrase. I listen to a lot of podcasts, whether it's football, golf, whatever it is, and they always say the paranoid is the best off. So you have, these guys who are playing who they might have started last year, but it's like, man, I got this young sophomore, this guy coming behind me, and if I have one bad day in practice, like he might overlap me, right, and he might take over me. So that's where I see the evolution of this team going. Man, when your second and third team guys could potentially play on Saturdays, that's great because your first team guys got to be on point every single day. You cannot allow any mistakes, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in practice. Because if you do, guess what? Hey, you know what? You're gonna have a guy come behind you, and it's like he can step in and play against Northwestern. He can step in and play against a Rutgers, a Purdue, a Penn State, whoever it may be. So that's great because it forces you to prepare the best way during the week. And if you prepare really, really well during the week, man, those Saturdays became really, really easy. So it is nice to have the depth, but I think where it comes really in hand and where the team needs to go is it increases the competition to where, man, I can't make a mistake on Wednesday. I can't do it because that might bring a guy into a play that might, he's on the sideline on the game 3 or in the 5th play of the game. But if I make a mistake, guess what? I might switch spots with him. So that's a good position to be in for this defense because that just increases everyone's intensity, their alertness, their attention to detail, and that's a nice problem to have.
Visiting again with former Blackshirt Jay Moore here on Sports On It. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. Jay, how about getting to the quarterback? Do you see guys that you feel like have the ability to make plays in the backfield? Is it Dolman in that realm as you look at this team?
I think, when you bring that topic up, my immediate thought is to Caleb Tanner. I think this guy has played enough meaningful snaps. I think he possesses, in this 3-4 defense, you have to have a guy that can set the edge and kind of rush the passer on the edge. And I think he has the length, the strength to do that. He's, going to his 3rd or 4th year. I'm not with the whole COVID year. I'm not exactly sure what year he's going into, but I look to him. I look to, again, you have a guy like Ben Stilley. I know he's going into his 6th year. You can move Ben along anywhere. You can play a 5 technique, a 3 technique. He can play over the center. He can play a lot of different things in a 3rd and long situation to create that pressure to get in the backfield on a 3rd and obvious passing situation. Jojo Dolman he's kind of a wild card. I think he fits more into your 1st and 2nd down type of packages where you can maybe bring him on a blitz from a slot position or maybe up the edge where, I don't think if he was your obvious pass rusher, I don't think that's the guy you want winning. And he might have developed into that over the offseason. I don't know, but he's kind of your hybrid guy. You can kind of sneak him into that. But I look to guys, and a guy like Ty Robinson who should be coming into a high level. Put him at any of those. A 5 technique, a 3 technique. 5 techniques over the tackle, 3 techniques over the guard, and even like a 1 technique over the center. I like him being able to win on a third long situation and a one-on-one in a one-on-one situation to be able to get up the quarterback. So obviously the depth is there, and the guys have played plenty of meaningful snaps to get up the quarterback. It's just, can they make the plays when the time comes to it? When you're, it's 3rd and 7 and late in the fourth quarter against Wisconsin, can you get off the field and get to that quarterback? And doesn't have to be a sack, man. It just has to be you rush him to make a early throw, a late throw. You kind of get, you get a little fingertip on his elbow to direct that pass in a different situation. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough to get there. But I think we got the guys to get the job done.
You mentioned Cam Taylor-Britt earlier. What kind of season could he have? Do you expect maybe him to do, and where he maybe could end up on potential draft boards next spring?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. He's. You want to look at guys who have probably the most consistent coming back this year. You obviously want to look to him. I think he obviously had his opportunity to put his name in the draft board, coming after the COVID season. So he's coming back. I think he is your surefire leader of this defense. And granted, you'd like to have your surefire, in my opinion, you'd like to have your surefire leaders in that front seven. But he's a guy that has played his tail off. I mean, he's made a lot of really good plays within this defense, and he doesn't have to do. I think within this defense, he doesn't have to do anything extraordinary. I mean, going into his fifth or whatever 6th year you want to call it. So he has to just keep doing what Cam's doing. Be consistent. He doesn't need to be. He does not need to make 5 interceptions. He just has to be consistent. And even when, the cards are stacked against you, be Cam Taylor-Britt. Be consistent. Just keep doing what you're doing and keep your defense on the same page. Keep communicating with your secondary. Keep communicating with Dismute. Keep communicating with your other guys in secondary. And just realize, hey, it's a play. We're going to make it. We're going to move on. And I think that's the beauty of the football of the game is when you have guys who are experienced, they just understand that, hey, we just got to do our job. If I do my job, you do your job, we're going to be okay. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to develop. We're going to do our thing, and we're going to be okay. And that's the cool thing when you have a lot of guys coming back as the defense has. So he doesn't have to do anything extraordinary. And if he just keeps doing his job, Sunday the draft thing will take care of himself. He'll be taken wherever, and he'll be playing on Sundays. But if Cam keeps doing his thing, he has nothing to worry about.
All right, Jay, I want to get into one of the most talked about things around Husker football every year, and that's the black shirts. It's such a great tradition at Nebraska. Remind me, when you played, when were those handed out, and when is the right time to do that, to live up to that tradition in your eyes?
Yeah, I received my very first one my sophomore year, going to the very first game week. We were my sophomore year. Oh my gosh, we might have played like
Pittsburgh,
Southern Illinois. No, I can't. It was Illinois. It was a directional Illinois school many years ago. I'm feeling very old right now. But it's usually, in my experience, it was always handed out that very first game week. And I think it's a very appropriate time. That's how I experienced it. That's how, when I was with Solitz before, that's how they handle it. And that's kind of how Tom Osborne and Charlie handled it in the years previous. You went through training camp, and then going into your game prep week, that's when they're handed out. They're sitting in your locker, and I'll never forget the day that mine was sitting there in the old South Stadium before the North Stadium was advanced. It was sitting there, and tears were brought to my eyes because just being a Nebraska kid and knowing how important that was, and seeing guys like Jason Peter and Grant Wistrom and Jay Foreman. You just go down the line. I mean, guys who I've developed a really good relationship with now, and I'm very grateful for that. And in representing what they've done before me, and be able to try to represent as best I can to what they did, in those great years. So hopefully that's a proper time. And there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. I have, I think I have, I have received 3 in my lifetime, my sophomore, junior, senior year. I have one framed in my basement. My parents have the other one framed in their basement, and then the other one is given to Larry the Cable Guy, and it's in his office somewhere. I don't know if he has it framed yet, so I gave it to him because I visited him many times, and he has all the coolest memorabilia. Right? I'm like, you don't have a black shirt in your office. I'm like, you need one, and he's been great with me with his time and doing things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to give you one of mine. So that's where my third one is. So it's a great experience, a great tradition. I have goosebumps talking about it. I'm glad I was able to live up to the expectations as best I can. But I think that early game week that first game week is the best way to give it out. And I know it means a lot to all those kids who are going to get one this year. You've seen the videos, you've seen the tears. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So hopefully, this defense keeps playing good football, and I know the black shirts, that means a lot. And I know these guys who have played a lot of good football will keep that tradition alive.
Very good. Cool
That's
moment.
awesome.
Yeah. Western Illinois, by the way. That's who you opened with that one year.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the Leathernecks. Jay, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on. Always good to catch up with you. Hope you're doing well, and let's have some fun this football season.
Absolutely. Let's get some wins, and I'm happy to come on anytime you need me. So don't be afraid to holler.
There you go. Thanks, Jay. Jay Foreman, or Jay Moore, not Jay Foreman. You mentioned Jay Foreman. Jay Moore with us here, former black shirt, fourth-round pick of the Niners in 2007. He joined us on our Sports Only Hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. All right, we've opened up our phone lines for you, 402-413-2400 if you want to call us up with a comment or question, or fire off a text, or jump into the chat room. Maybe you want to have some more shade at Jay on his golf game. You can jump in and do
He
that.
didn't like that very much, did he?
He and Danny go back and forth. They're both good golfers, way better than I am. So
Well, they asked if you played golf with
I
them.
do play, but I'm not at their level at all. So not at all. All right, we need to take a break. We're back with more coming up.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska is one of the best schools in America for student Fulbright scholars. 2021 marks the fourth time that the university has been named a top producing institution by the Fulbright program. Of the 30 Huskers who applied this past year, 10 were offered the prestigious Fulbright. An additional 16 Huskers were named semifinalists.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse and experience the difference. Start and end your car buying journey online with our streamlined sales process. Our knowledgeable sales teams will guide you to the perfect vehicle that exceeds your expectations. Visit one of our 16 locations for a test drive today, or online anytime at woodhouse.com. Streamlining your car buying experience. This is Woodhouse.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up in back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it. The confidence of flashing a beautiful smile. The relief that your family can keep living the life they love. The serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. Thanks again to Jay Moore for spending a little time with us, talking some Husker defense, his thoughts about that group, and a little bit of history lesson there about the black shirts and how much that meant to him. It's amazing how much giving a guy a special jersey to wear in practice to these kids, how much it means. And he's not, I mean, everyone I've talked to talks about how they get tears in their eyes when they first get one of those.
And everyone seems to have a different kind of story and takeaway from getting that first one. And then Larry, the cable guy, has one in his office
how about
now.
That? Like he needs that. Come on. He doesn't need that.
That's awesome.
402-413-2400 if you want to be a part of this program. What's happening in the YouTube chat tonight?
So a couple different conversations going on. I guess Trev talked today and said that he felt good about the sellout streak. And so talking about that and capacity and that a lot of excitement that it sounds like that we're feeling good about the sellout streak continuing.
It's good to hear. I mean, I think that Fordham game will be tough because I doubt Fordham brings hardly any fans at all. And so you're going to have to pick up and sell their allotment. And it would sure help to be coming off of a win. That would get some people kind of fired up and ready. So that feels good. That's great that he said that today to that chamber group that he talked to here.
Did not add seats, though, this year.
Nope. Same capacity as it has been. In fact, I think we probably are looking at maybe going the other way. Anybody who's been to a game knows how crammed in they put everybody in. I think the size of us these days is more than it was 100 years ago when they built the stadium and they put the numbers on the seats. So I think everybody might appreciate a little bit more elbow room in their seats, and that would probably reduce capacity by a little bit, not very much, but I think that may be something Nebraska looks at.
And he said that streak will never be touched, but that it's kind of something that it means a lot to Husker fans, so it's something that, as long as they continue to sell it out, it's kind of on them. It's not something that he pushes or whatnot, but that it's important to Nebraska fans to continue that streak on.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of news made out of that. Those reporters were all over that chamber event that Trev spoke at today. Trev didn't probably need to be told this. He knows it. But anytime he goes and makes a talk somewhere, it's going to be quoted, make some headlines.
Quote, it's going to be tweeted.
It is going to be picked up on and thrown out there. So, but Trev knows that, and he's as good at that as anybody that I've been around. He is phenomenal at handling those type of things. Well, Jessica, Tim Tebow got cut today by the Jags. The tight end experiment for him did not work out. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And hearing, people talking about it, just that he was supposed to be Urban Meyer's guy in the locker room, but that it was kind of causing some issues. And I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean,
Why is he still trying to do that? I mean, he's got a lot of things going in his way. He's a very marketable guy, right? I mean, anytime you win the Heisman, you can certainly go profit off of that. He's a pretty good broadcaster, I think. I think he's limited in some ways, but he's got a role that he can do. Why go dabble in that? I just don't get why you would do that.
Unless he just loves the game that much and he wanted to try it. Because he never tried it at tight end, right? He just was a quarterback before he left and then went to do the baseball thing, which I heard was kind of I knew somebody that worked for one of the teams that he was at that was kind of a circus, that it was a big brought in people, but it was a lot.
Tickets.
It was a lot to deal with from that kind of standpoint. So he just loves to compete so much and loves Urban Meyer and wanted to try it one more time.
And that should be it, I would think. For terrific athlete. I mean, my goodness, if you can play minor league baseball and you played in the NFL, you were starting quarterback for the Broncos for a couple years. I mean, just an amazing athlete to be able to do both sports at that high of a level. It's incredible to be able to do that.
Someone said, how old is Tim T? And 57. No. Tebow just needs to be a pastor. No, and he is great. He's great at doing that kind of stuff. His foundation does unbelievable work. I mean, he makes a big impact in a lot of different areas. And like you said, he's got so many different talents that, you'd think. But maybe he feels like he can continue to kind of get the publicity for those kinds of things by going to try out for an NFL team.
And maybe that's right. Maybe he's trying to keep the brand alive by putting himself out there and doing that. But the Jags said that was it. They called an end to it today. And we're still quite a ways from a lot of cut-down days in the NFL, so he was probably one of the first guys cut.
Well, but if you're a guy that's been busting your tail, and maybe you've been on the practice squad, maybe you've been on and off the roster, and then here comes this guy that hasn't really been playing, hasn't even been playing tight end, and kind of gets one of those spots when somebody that's been grinding it out, it can't be good for a locker room.
I wouldn't think so either. Not when most people know there's no chance he's going to make the team.
Right.
The publicity stunt being run out there.
So you're taking away spots or reps in practice and training camp and a spot on the roster for him that he's, not going to make it, but, someone else very well could.
Yeah. All right, need to take a break. We went long with Jay in the last segment, 402-413-2400. Back with some more Sports Highlight here in Hour 1. Plenty of time for you to jump on board and share a thought with us. We're back with that next.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams.
Help!
Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com. Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams.
Help!
Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
We're back here on a Sports Highlight Tuesday night, 402-413-2400 if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. Also, we do live stream this on our YouTube channel, and there's a chat room in there. A lot of folks get in there and have some fun. bantering back and forth and firing off questions to us. And you had a question about nutrition.
Yeah, it's funny how the conversations are never the same. They're different every night. But yeah, I was brought up about what type of diet they have, and then brought up about the training table. Andy Harris about that the training table has everything, and they really do. And then just kind of how they. How the diets are personalized for each player. So speaking of that, funny that you bring that up, because dropping tomorrow, we got a nutrition podcast that's sponsored by Midwest Dairy, who kind of, believe in the nutrition part of it and what Nebraska is doing here, because it is cutting edge. And that training table already is, a lot of people would kill for that, but then it's about to be even crazier out there at the new facilities, that everybody's going to be trying to catch up with that. But they have cooking stations down there. I've been down there like 3 times to do different features and videos, and people are down there, athletes are down there cooking. We're going to do some cooking things. But so tomorrow we'll have a full feature on with Dave, and then we're going to use some of that in the show tomorrow night. You'll be able to hear some of it tomorrow night in the show as well. So everything you need to know about Nebraska nutrition, performance nutrition, we got you covered tomorrow.
Dave Ellis is as good as it gets in the country for this thing, and he's just a magician at this thing. And it's so important because these athletes come, and so many of them don't eat very well in high school. They're kind of on that cheeseburger and French fried diet coming here, and so they get by a natural ability at that level. We talked about this last night about a lot of great athletes don't have to try that hard in high school because they're so much better.
Right.
But that matters a lot here. And so to get them into a good pattern of what they eat, what they put in their bodies, how they fuel themselves up, it's a huge part of the whole thing.
Who was it that Shenander was talking about that he dropped weight 10 to 15 pounds that has helped him do, instead of just, going out there for 2 plays, now he can stay out there for 6 or 8, it was like 2 or 4 to 6 or 8. That's a big difference, just being able to, maintain your, just being able to stay out there.
Your stamina.
Stamina. There you go. Stamina to be able to stay out there. But what's also important to know about what Nebraska's done, and it's kind of a melting pot where all the athletes go. A lot of times, a lot of places, it's just built. They might have one facility built for a football team, but the rest of the sports are not kind of focused on as much as what it is here. And that's important, that there could be some schools maybe potentially seeing some issues because they have not treated that fairly. But the fact that Nebraska keeps it very much equal and even between all of the sports.
And it's a wonderful way to mingle and meet people from different sports. A football player might meet a tennis player or a golfer, or the baseball team might meet somebody from the gymnastics team. I mean, I love the melting pot of the dining hall here.
The camaraderie is so cool. I mean, it
great.
Is like you go down there and you just feel it. It's just, and I've just came from a place, and it is a different feeling down there when you got all those student athletes kind of interacting and kind of getting to know each other. And it goes back to that family feel, which is a huge part of the recruiting tool for every sport here.
One of my favorite spots in the stadium, not just because it's food generated, just because you see all the athletes intermingle.
Lots of options there for food,
too.
Oh,
my goodness, it's crazy. Speaking of crazy, on our text line, pretty crazy to think that a year from now we're going to be gearing up for the opener against Northwestern in Ireland. Yeah, how about that? 12 months from now, and week 0 then will be the Huskers and the Cats in Dublin. That's going to be so fun. Packages are still available. I was at a pre-concert event the other night with the Alumni Association, and they were promoting their trips to Ireland. So that's exactly right. That will be here before you know it, and a lot of room for people to jump on board and come over and make a nice vacation out of the whole deal.
And it looks beautiful. I've never been over there, but man, it just looks stunning. So much to do. There's a lot of things that you can do, make a vacation out of it when you're going out to the game.
Do a whole bunch of packages. 1 hour down, another to go. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Trade in and trade up at Woodhouse today. Experience our wide range of inventory from our 16 different locations and 18 different brands, where we're sure to have a vehicle for you. Locate your vehicle online at woodhouse.com and shop your preferred dealership. And we make it convenient for you with the option to finance and buy online from the comfort of your own home. Visit one of our convenient locations closest to you or shop all of our inventory online at woodhouse.com today, making car buying easier. This is Woodhouse.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue! SOS! SOS! So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. The NBA released their opening games for the season and their Christmas Day schedule, which is a big day for the National Basketball Association. They'll have 5 games: Boston and Milwaukee, Atlanta and New York to take on the Knicks, Phoenix in Golden State to battle the Warriors, and the Nets will travel across the country to battle the Lakers in L.A., and Dallas and Utah will wrap up the day in Salt Lake City. The rest of their schedule will come out later this week. The national champion Husker bowling squad released their schedule today. The Huskers will start the year Friday, October 29th at the McKendree Bearcat Open. That's one of 3 events during the fall. The remainder of their schedule will be after the holidays, including the Huskers' own event, February 25th through the 27th. Checking the Major League Baseball scoreboard, the Yankees and Red Sox playing 2 games today. The Yankees won Game 1 5-3. And in the second game, it is currently New York 1, Boston nothing in the bottom of the third. Toronto and Washington knotted at 1 in the third inning. The Cubs lead the Reds 1-0 in the third. The Angels ahead of the Tigers 1-0 also in the third inning. Bottom of the third, no score, Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Bottom of the fourth, no score, Braves and the Marlins in Miami. Just getting underway, the Brewers in St. Louis take on the Cardinals. The Royals hosting the Astros. Later tonight, it'll be the Mariners in Texas to take on the Rangers. The Indians and Tigers will play in Minneapolis. The Athletics and White Sox on the south side of Chicago. Padres and Rockies out in Denver. Phillies and Diamondbacks in Phoenix. Mets and Giants in San Francisco, and the Pirates in L.A. to take on the Dodgers. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stebrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the 5th. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Sports Nightly here on a Tuesday night. Looking forward to this next 60 minutes. We're going to talk with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, who's the new Senior Associate AD at Nebraska for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And later, we're going to hear from some Australian basketball players. We have 3 of them on the Husker women's squad.
And it's really cool. They are all kind of intertwined and helps recruit each other, and they take a lot of pride in representing Australia, but love playing together.
Are all their accents pretty similar, or are there different dialects to their accent?
I think they're all pretty similar, and the podcast is up. We're going to hear a little bit of it, but if you are a fan of Australian accents, this is a can't miss.
Did you get a mate out of them? Mate?
I did
they
not.
like to say
no.
mate, I think,
no,
a lot.
I did.
Down
I
under.
did. They didn't say that, but it was entertaining.
Now I'm disappointed.
I know. We talked about Garth Brooks because is he born didn't know who Garth Brooks was?
They wouldn't know Garth Brooks. Well, we start off the hour. I'm just thrilled to have with us here in studio tonight Dr. Lawrence Chatters, who's been on the job just 2 weeks, right, Dr. Chatters?
2 weeks. I am still a little wet behind the ears.
But this is home, right? You're a Nebraska guy.
Yes, I've been here in Nebraska since 1994 when my dad got stationed at Offutt Air Force Base. We moved here from Germany, so talk about a culture shock, right? But moved here in '94, have been here ever since. Some pretty deep Nebraska roots. My wife is from Nebraska. My brother, strangely enough, is back in Nebraska. He's a major in the Space Force. And so, yeah, Space Force is in Nebraska. Imagine that, right? But, so just been on the job now for 2 weeks, and what I can say is that there's a palpable excitement around this department right now that I hope you all have been able to tap into. But as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion is concerned, I would say that Nebraska is primed to make some significant moves right now.
Why was this attractive to you, this position?
Because of the big red N. What I'd say is that the brand here at Nebraska is amazing. The power of this brand and what it means to the state. The fact that I had an opportunity to work here in the past and really worked with some high-end people and just saw the potential of what this role could do in a space like this. You know, I'm not going to lie, if folks could see behind us, there's a huge building going up here. There's a lot of building going on here at Nebraska. A couple of years ago, a inaugural vice chancellor for diversity, equity, and inclusion was named here at Nebraska. There was just a lot of positive momentum, and based on my experience here before and how much I enjoyed it, I really saw this as a great opportunity.
Yeah, you worked with Keith Zimmer, which we talk a lot about, a lot of the kind of trend-setting things that Nebraska has done, but the life skills program here is really second to none. I mean, nobody does it like Keith Zimmer and his crew. How big is that for recruits, for potential student athletes to have a program like that, and how much did that draw you back to getting to work with Keith again?
Yeah, so Keith is, Keith is just really a stalwart in the industry. I mean, people that talk about life skills, there's two names that come up. Tom Osborne, because he was the original person with the idea, because back during his time, he had guys that would graduate that couldn't even write a check. And then there's Keith Zimmer, who essentially, with the support of other people over the years, built that life skills program into something that is just something to look at. It is the standard, the gold standard within D1 athletics. And so getting a chance to come back and work with Keith, and, you know, when I was here before, I got a chance to work closely with him and just got a lot of support from him and many other people in the department that were here at the time. And so certainly Keith was a major part of, you know, my decision to come back, in that I recognized that he would be able to get me locked in with the student athletes through the life skills component. And student athletes at Nebraska care about life skills. They care about all the programming that we do here. And it's not that way at every other place.
How important is this, you know, the diversity role and continuing the conversation? I mean, I know you're passionate about it, but, you know, for fans that might be listening and wonder why this is important and why it is so important, we've heard Trev talk about the importance since he's been hired, you know, just to continue this diversity conversation.
So I want to use a farming analogy here, because I think this is something that folks can relate to. My wife's dad is a farmer. He's been farming for his entire life. He's, I believe, third or fourth generation farmer. What I can say about what he does is that he does what he does very well, and he's a hard worker. He has a significant work ethic, but it takes a lot to get that crop into the field, and it takes a lot to get that crop to harvest, right? But he does it different from other farmers. Right? So as we look at that and we think about what exactly does diversity mean, we mean just the different approaches that people take to doing the same thing. We mean that people, despite what they look like you were saying earlier, Greg, you know, everyone from Australia, right? They might have an accent, but it might be a little different. Mm-hmm. That's diversity, right? Mm-hmm. When we're thinking about essentially the way we go about doing our jobs, we do things differently. And we are different in many different aspects. But what I can also say is that there's some universal things that everybody needs. Like if we're using this crop analogy, all crops are going to need water at some point, right? We need some irrigation. We're going to need sunlight. In some cases, you're going to probably need to put a little bit of nitrogen on there, right? You're going to need to utilize different things to make sure that things are working well. And the way I see that is that everybody needs some pretty general things like love, appreciation, and respect so that they can grow. Right? And what we recognize is that traditionally, not everybody has received those things, and not everybody has felt that acceptance in certain spaces, so they don't feel like they're getting those things. My job here really, when we talk about inclusion or allowing everybody that chooses to plant themselves here can grow, is to recognize who those people are, recognize really what makes them happy, what makes them feel accepted in a space, and provide those things. One of the unique things we have in athletics is a team concept. Mm-hmm. The team concept, what it does is it brings people together for a united goal. Every person on that team is going to have a role, whether it be just, hey, you know, I'm on the scout team, or, you know, I happen to be a starter, or I'm a linebacker, I'm a running back, I'm a shortstop, I'm a third baseman. But we need to make sure that we see that person for who they are so they can fully actualize what they're capable of doing. Just like that crop, if you do the right things, you're going to get a lot of harvest, right? And so when we think about farming over the years, it's changed, but there's some things that stay the same. And what I would say is that it's those general concepts that people need. It's the love, it's the respect, it's the support. That's what this role is all about. So it's not continuing the conversation so much as it is recognizing that this is a reality in everything that we do in our world. There's diversity, there's a need for equity where people have equal access to opportunities. If we think about that in the farming industry, we think about there are some farms that need subsidies sometimes, right, to help them get to where they're going, to do what they're doing, because they don't have the funds to get to where they are. There's smaller farms, there's larger farms. When you have an equal playing field and everybody can do things in an equitable way, then we can really see what people's work ethic can produce, right? So that's really the way I see it. It's just giving people equal access to an opportunity, showing them love, respect, acceptance, and then hopefully we can get the most out of them here because they chose to come to this school. They gave us the opportunity to provide them with an education, and they're here to compete. But we need to see them for who they are, right? And so that's really conceptually how I see all of this fitting together.
Wow.
Visiting again with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. He has just recently been named the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Last hour, we were talking about the training table, and I told Jessica that's my favorite spot in the stadium because all the athletes converge there. And you might have a tennis player from Germany who may sit down with a football player from downtown Omaha.
Yes.
And how different could that be? And have the conversation.
Yes.
That is where the growth, I think, in all of us can come. I imagine you may, if you wander down there, you can see that interaction going on, and that is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. I think anytime you have an opportunity to break bread with somebody and fellowship with them and just talk to a person and learn more about them, that's where we're breaking down these barriers. And that's one of the things that I encourage people across the state to do. You're going to be tailgating this year, having a good time, cooking up some great meat from your hometown. Offer something to someone, invite them in, learn about that person, right? We don't just have to see football as something that is a competitive sport, but it's an opportunity for us to come together and support each other and learn more about each other. And I see that all the time, by the way, when I'm walking through downtown. It's just people saying, hey, come over here, have a hot dog or something, have a brat or whatever. I mean, we need to do more of that. I mean, if you think about it, when you invite people into your home, when you invite people into a space where you can serve them, you're really opening yourself up to a new relationship and a friendship that you can build with that person, regardless of what they look like, regardless of where they're from. Food brings people together, and so do sports.
Had a comment in here on the YouTube chat. This guy would be a great mentor. I know you are, and I know you're trying. That's part of what you're doing right now is trying to build relationships with these student athletes. Saw you going down to football practice the other day. I'm sure you've been out to volleyball. How do you go about that, kind of making sure that that these athletes know that, hey, I'm here for you, and whatever you need, I'm here to serve you and help you feel like you were just talking about?
Yes, absolutely. It's about walking around with an open heart and an open mind for me. What I want our student athletes, our staff, and everyone on this campus to know is that I care about them and I believe that they have potential, that they are inherently a good person. I think that's where we're struggling nowadays in our society, is that some people are making assumptions that, oh, because you believe in this or because you see something this way, you're a bad person. I think everyone is inherently good. I think we have that positive potential. That's the way I walk around. I walk around with an expectation that I can connect with someone, that I can learn something about them, that they have something valuable that they bring to the space. And I think we all have to see it that way. We grew up differently potentially. We may see things differently as far as our perspectives is concerned, but we all bring value to this world. And so that's what I have to do. It's a process. I've been here for 2 weeks, but I've been to a number of practices. I've had a ton of meetings, and in every single one of those meetings and at the practices that I'm at, I'm there patting people on the back and saying, hey, I see you're out here working hard. I hope you have a great year. I know you're doing great things for your student athletes. I know you want to see this place be successful. Really spreading positivity and building a positive culture throughout the entire athletic department. And now I've started to stretch across campus and meet with some folks as well.
Don't give anything away about the running backs on the show while you're out there watching practice. Just kidding.
I know your short-term goals, this is probably try to get around and introduce yourself to a lot of different people. Give me kind of a vision that you have where you want this to go in the next year to two.
Yeah, so when I think about a long-term goal and I think about the big picture, I'm going to go back to this farming analogy. I want to have soil that is very nutrient, right? I want to have a place where I have proper irrigation and I have an opportunity that anything that is planted in my field, which I consider that field to be Nebraska athletics, has a great opportunity to grow, right? And when you think about that, it's easier said than done, right? I mean, there's so many different types of people that come to school here that choose Nebraska. They're from many different states. They're from many different countries, right? We have a young man on our cross-country team from South Africa, right? How do you make sure that he feels comfortable here in Nebraska, right? So when I think of it, I just think of, well, first of all, I have to survey what all of these students need. I need to look for common factors or similarities across the board and try to provide those opportunities for them. So that might mean that if there's issues that are coming up that are controversial, we might need to create a space for those students to come in and talk about them, right? Because if they have an issue, then maybe they can come in, get that off their chest, and then walk out of that space feeling heard. So when I think about it, I just think of there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, but eventually I hope that we would be in a place that any student, regardless of what their culture is or their background that comes to Nebraska, can feel comfortable here. And that has to broaden not only to the university, but also the state, right? We don't want students just feeling comfortable in Lincoln. We want them to be able to go to Pender. We want them to be able to go to, Tecumseh and feel comfortable in those communities. And I think the N helps with that a lot, right? Because I think people see our athletes out in the community and they're like, hey, you're a Husker athlete. But I think we have to broaden that, and we just have to understand that as Nebraskans, we can come together and support each other and just see each other as that. Hey, that's a Nebraskan, this is a Nebraskan, that's a person who's in our state. We need to show that person what the good life is all about.
And you have some experience doing this radio thing before.
You feel comfortable here.
At home in the studio, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Spent some time on the radio a while back and just really love the medium. I think that ever since, the beginning, like fireside chats and stuff like that, radio's been a great opportunity to get information out to people, and folks like yourselves that, want to bring up these ideas that we can talk about on the radio and just kind of, really imagine what can be. I think that radio provides that opportunity.
I feel like we should have like a monthly segment with you.
I would absolutely love that because you know what? There's a lot to talk about, and I think that there's a lot of people across our state that likely have questions about how we're going to go about doing this work and how they can help. And that's the thing that I want to do is just say, this isn't a job just for me. This is a job that everybody has a responsibility for across this department and across the state.
You started like a week or two right after Trev Alberts took over the job. Have you had some conversations with him about what he kind of wants from you?
So what I would say is that Trev's energy it really is amazing. I've sat down with him on a number of occasions through our senior staff meetings, and he also participates in a group called the Nebraska Athletics Inclusion Council. And Trev has high expectations of this department from an inclusionary perspective. He wants our department to be competitively inclusive. What does that mean? That means that anybody that comes into this space, we can figure out how we can help them be at their best and provide a world-class student-athlete experience for that student. And so he wants to be competitive in everything, right? He wants to win. And I think in order to create a winning culture, if you look at championship caliber teams, those are teams where it doesn't matter what you look like, I'm fighting for you and we're in battle together, right? And so that's what it comes down to. We need to broaden that across this department. We need our student athletes to break down whatever barriers there might be between them and see themselves as Huskers. And again, it's something that goes across the state.
Fantastic. From bowling to football, right? We had
Yes.
bowling at the top of the hour there.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Dr. Chatters, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
This was really good. I'm with Jessica. I think we'll need to have you back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
you
the
have a
opportunity.
message that people need to hear. And I mean, the chatters are loving it. Our texters are loving it. So we appreciate you being here.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone across this state, and I just ask you to work with us here in this department to make this the best place for any student athlete in the country to be, right here in Nebraska.
Well put. Thank you very much. Hey, our Sports Only Hotline is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. More of the show coming up.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Back to adventures in technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at Facebook.com/Huskers and Twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue! SOS! SOS!
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you. Thanks again to Dr. Chatters for coming in. That was fun. That was a great segment.
Man, I mean, if you don't hear that and you know, aren't changed or think about things in a different way, I mean, and it is so important. You heard him talking about it, you know, athletics being a team, and you think about just the diversity on any given team. And this athletics department, we got people from all around the world, you know, that are competing for the Huskers, and you know, all of that kind of goes hand in hand. Is, you know, thinking about how we can help these student athletes grow. And, you know, it's, what an incredible message. And I'm glad he's on board here at Nebraska.
People in the chat room want him to run for office.
Yeah, run for president. And, you know, how blessed Nebraska is to have this man in his position. We had a couple texters, you know, texting in. But yeah, it was a very, how he broke it down about farming and whatnot. It's just an incredible message.
Really good, and somebody did want to ask who the running backs were. Yeah, so.
That's why I said it. Don't say anything about the running backs. And, you know, we had some chatters told me to ask him who the starting running back is.
That is fantastic. Very impressive guy, and we'll have him back. He is a fantastic addition to the team here at the University of Nebraska. And I think he and Trevor are going to get along great. He kind of alluded to that. That last question, because I think they think a lot alike in that whole thing.
And about being competitively inclusive. You know, we've heard Trev talk about the competing and wanting to win. It's not just about winning games. You want to win that diversity and inclusion, you know, that part of it as well, because that's what's going to keep these Husker student athletes coming back and feeling like this, everything they're saying about this program, about it's a family feel and how they feel at home, that all plays into that.
into the recruiting process. If people sense that, they're more likely to jump on board and be a part of that. The Washington football team, Jessica, we talked about this last week. They were on, their preseason game was going on. They have whittled their prospective nicknames down to 3. They put out a video today, but they didn't say what the 3 were. They didn't release it. But I have the final 8.
Okay.
The final 8, Armada, did I do anything for you? The Washington Armada, the Brigade, the Commanders, the Defenders, the Presidents, the Red Hogs, the Red Wolves.
I don't mind the presidents because, you're
DC.
Yeah. You got the Capitals, right? You know?
Yep, Capitals of the hockey team.
Hockey team.
Yeah. The Nationals.
Nationals. It kind of plays into the theme a little bit.
So what they did was they had their football coach, Ron Rivera, do a video. And then when he made some comment, he goes, I really like these 3. And then he read them off and they beeped it out because they don't want to reveal the 3. So he knows. The head coach of the Redskins, the head coach of the football team, not the Redskins, the head coach of the Washington football team knows what the final 3 are.
So there is 3, and then how are they going to narrow it down to 1?
They're going to do a kind of contest it over the coming weeks. They're going to kind of roll it out. So that's a whole campaign they've got going. But they announced the 8 a few weeks ago. Then they put this teaser video out today. It was a 3-minute episode that opens up with the team president showing the names to Ron Rivera. And at the episode, they list the 3 finalists with the team's name, but you don't get to actually hear it.
Someone said those names are all horrible, and
well, we have the Cleveland Guardians coming in baseball.
Yeah, Mark said those names are all horrible, and then we have how about the Washington Monuments?
That'd be okay. I think that'd be all right. But they're Armada, Brigade, Commanders, Defenders, Presidents, Red Hogs, Red Wolves.
Mark doesn't like any of those.
None?
None.
All right. Well, he's going to get one of them. They're coming. So they're gonna whittle it down and put out their new name. It will not be in time. They said that they're shooting for 2022 is when they will be called. Whatever they're coming up with. You can't be the
Defenders because then what about the players on offense?
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
You know.
So there you go. It's out there. So I know we have some Washington football fans out there that probably want to sound, and some guy obviously doesn't like them. So
there's a couple in here.
We have thumbs
that don't
down.
Like it.
Thumbs down on that right there. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk some Husker women's basketball with the 3 Australians on Amy Williams' squad. Jessica's got a podcast with this group. We're going to play you a snippet of that coming up next.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up in back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram during the Make This the Summer event going on now. The Ram is where fine form meets rugged function, designed to be durable, functional, and stylish, giving you the dependability you need for all your work projects and the luxury you deserve to get around for everyday driving. With a full lineup of all new 1500, 2500, and 3500 Rams, we're sure to have one that fits your needs. Shop our full lineup online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com or stop out and see us for a test drive in Blair.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS. So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. You had a chance earlier in the week to catch up with some of the Husker women's basketball players.
Yeah, the Australians, 3 of them now, and all kind of, again, go back to with the small kind of basketball world in Australia, knew each other before they got here, and even played a role in recruiting each other and getting everybody here. So I kind of sat down with the 3 of them, Jazz Shelley, and then Izzy Bourne and Ruby Porter, and just kind of starting with Izzy, how it kind of all came about that they knew each other and how they all got here to Nebraska together.
Jazz and I went to the RAS in Canberra for 2 years together. We lived together, and then we played on a team in Geelong before we both went our separate ways to college. We played on the World Cup team in 2019 together, so we've had a lot of experience together. And then Ruby, I've obviously known playing against her all my life for South Australia versus ACT. So it's kind of cool just to like have this pathway where we've all got together in the end. It's awesome.
It's awesome. So were y'all rivals? So did y'all hate playing against each other growing up?
Well, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, Jazz was on the Vic team, which no one likes.
Hey, it's Vic country. That's
that's true.
So take me through. So you came first, right? So then how did you help recruit Ruby and then Jazz when she made the decision to transfer? How that all kind of worked out?
I mean, yeah, Ruby came on a visit and I tried to make it seem as much home as I could, like we wanted her, so I did what I could there. And then Jazz came to visit my sophomore year just to kind of hang out. Like, we've been best friends for a long time, and I think that kind of really helped before she knew she was transferring. She kind of had that in the back of her mind of how much a good time she had here, I think, and that kind of probably helped a little bit. But yeah, I think it was her decision, but I'm glad she came.
Yeah, and Ruby, why did you kind of make the decision? You were one of the top recruits right out of Australia, coming out of your class. Why Nebraska? Why did it kind of call to you to come here?
I think everyone that comes to Nebraska says it's like a family here. Like, I know my 2 sophomore friends both said it's just the culture here that they've built. And obviously having an Australian here has definitely helped immensely. So, no, definitely the culture here and the team and the coaches are just unbelievable.
So, Jazz, you guys played together, right? Mm-hmm. Or against each other?
Both.
Okay, so once you got here and started playing summer ball, how much did it kind of feel natural and clicking?
It was crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so me and Izzy are so used to pick and rolls every time we play, and it was kind of weird to then play with her again because I kind of already know where she's going. Is she going to pop? Is she going to roll? So we're in sync a little bit, and it was kind of cool to get back to that.
Ruby, how exciting is this team with the newcomers and then everybody coming back? I mean, how competitive have practices been, but how excited are you guys for what you could potentially do this season?
Oh, so excited. We have a big team, but that doesn't mean we have such a deep team. Like, we go 11 deep, I think we have on the bench or something like that. So no, it's going to be really exciting. We have some girls coming back from injury, which are going to be so exciting to see play, and some really good freshmen coming in, and then obviously Jazz is a transfer. So no, it's going to be really exciting this year.
The field the program and, you know, being so far from home, how does that kind of help you? What Amy, the culture has kind of been established. How has that kind of helped you feel adjusted and feel like you can be a part of this program and not be so homesick?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things coming here. Was I felt on my visit, I felt so at home here. It's like a family away from family. Coach Williams isn't a coach, but she's family. She makes sure that you're feeling okay, everything off the court is good. She's a person first before she's a coach, which I love about her, and that's one of the main reasons I came here. So I think just she's created that environment where we are family and we are teammates. Like, it's more than just basketball. So that's the best thing about being here, and makes it so much easier being so far away from home.
You guys have anything?
I'd say exactly what Izzy said. And like the work that Coach Williams puts in, like behind the scenes and off the court, like we're having weekly Monday meetings, and that's just like a way to connect the team and like establish the culture that was already built last year. So like, yeah, she's just done an awesome job, and like we just want to build on that as Australians.
Yeah, I second both that. I think from like the coaches all the way through the players, everyone is just genuine, like beautiful people, and everyone has like the same goal to win, but also like they genuinely have like a love for each other, which is one of the big reasons why I came here, because of like it's safe here. It's people like actually genuinely love you and want you to do well. So that environment is kind of unmatched, I think.
I mean, last thing I kind of want to close with, you had a really breakout season last year with Big Ten honorable mention. Just each maybe talk about personal goals going into this season, how you kind of want to grow and what you've done, or what you want to bring to this program this year. And Izzy, I'll start with you.
Oh, gosh. I want to get to the tournament as a team goal. Like, that's my biggest thing. Is we want to go far, and I think we have the capability to do that. So that's like my main goal, and whatever I can do as a player to get us there, I will be working on like night in, night out. So that's all.
Yeah, I'd have to say that too. But a personal goal would be like just to keep the energy. Like, I am someone that I think I'm an energy filler. So doing whatever I can on and off the court to help my team get to the NCAA tournament would be just awesome.
And in your first season, Jazz, what do you hope to bring to the Huskers?
Well, I have big team goals, obviously, to go to the tournament and really take this team somewhere. And I think that individually I can bring my experience and my leadership and just some wisdom to the team, you know, and play that kind of role where I kind of want to be a glue person, kind of want to be that player to give you what I've experienced already, like had a few trips to the tournament, and like I really want to share that with this team and make sure we're sticking with it. We're going to go to the tournament too.
So you heard Jazz right there. She is a player that has had experience in the tournament, and all of them, when I asked them what they want to bring, all of them really want to get to the tournament, and you know, talking about the workouts and summer, you know, the summer practices, it's been competitive and they're fun. That was a fun podcast. Oh. The full podcast episode you can listen right now on the Huskers Radio Network podcast, wherever you listen. But I think they're going to all three provide a pretty big impact for this team, play a pretty big role for this team.
I think it's absolutely realistic that that's a tournament team. They went 13-13 a year ago, 9-10 in the league. So if you go a little bit over 500 in the Big Ten, you're probably going to be a tournament team. So I think that's absolutely within the grasp of this group.
And Izzy, you know, played really well, had a kind of a breakout season last year. And I think
Shelley will be a nice addition.
I really think so. I know they were really excited to get her, and they played on the Australian team. That's another part you want to tune in for on the podcast, because Ruby played on the 3-on-3 national Australian team, and we talked about that a little bit, which is cool. So all three of these players have international experience playing for Team Australia, and so they've played at, you know, the highest level, and kind of have a feel for it, and, you know, playing together again. You know, they definitely know how to play with each other as well.
That's got to be so cool for them to have people that understand where they grew up, what they their likes and dislikes from that. That's got to be a really nice comfort for the three of them to be there together.
Yeah, I mean, Izzy was the first, and she, you know, said that as, you know, well, first of all, the culture of the program and Coach Williams and how she makes her feel like home, even though she's so far from home. But then Ruby came second, and Ruby felt, a lot more at home having Izzy here. And then, of course, Jazz and Izzy were really good friends. And then just, the three of them. And they said even when people don't know what they're saying, which I don't know how you couldn't understand them. I love listening to them talk.
Too.
I was like, kept wanting to ask them questions so I could keep hearing them talk. But they're great, and I think they're going to be some fan favorites on the court as well this year.
They open against Maine on Tuesday, November the 9th. That will more than likely be a noon tip because the men play that night, and they do something in conjunction with Life Skills for that game. They've done that in the past, so I think they're probably going to do something like that in the future. And then Prairie View A&M on the 11th. Alabama A&M and Creighton. So you've got 5 opportunities to watch them at home right out of the gate, and a 6 if you add the Midland exhibition game on Monday, November the 1st. So 6 chances to see that team before Thanksgiving. So lots of opportunities to watch this team play some basketball early in the season. We're waiting on their conference schedule, which I think is just a matter of weeks before that happens. Same thing with the men. Get their conference schedule. That'll come out as well.
Don't we have a doubleheader, though? A couple times? Or?
We have a doubleheader on the opening day on November the 9th, which is the first day college basketball is allowed to be played. Women will play, I think, at the noon. I think the men will play at night. Can't remember who the men play.
That will be a great day. I love college basketball. 2 games in one day. I'm loving that.
That'll be fantastic. Isn't that odd that we're already talking about that still here in the middle of August, but it's not that far away.
Yeah, basketball now is a year-round sport. They're practicing year-round. They're working out year-round. So you're constantly hearing about recruiting news and everything. So I feel like it's just constantly staying in the cycle.
Well, we had it in the ticker. The NBA came out today with their opening games, and then the Christmas Day. They'll put the full schedule out later this week. It just seems like they finished. Well, they did. They just finished like 3 weeks ago. Right?
That's what I said. I feel like the NBA, and then we had, all the NBA players in the Olympics. So I felt like, we're still kind of talking NBA. We had all the free agency stuff. So it's just, it's year round now.
Well, and they got backed up because of COVID. They'll get back on schedule this year. They'll start up when they normally start. Last year they started that kind of shortened season in December, but the NBA back on their calendar in the upcoming year. So that'll be good to have that. Great interviews. That was fun to hear from all 3 of those players.
Yeah, full podcast up now. It is up and ready to go for your listening pleasure.
There you go. Go find it. All right, phone lines are open for you, 402-413-2400. If you want to dot us up with a comment or question, fire off a text. We are on our YouTube stream as well with a chat room in there. You can fire some things in there as well. We're back to take more of your reaction to the show next.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Husker fans, the 2021 athletic season marks the beginning of mobile tickets for Husker sporting events. Tickets and parking passes for all sports will be available for download in your ticket account on the official Huskers app. It's a safe and easy way to guarantee your entry into some of the most exciting sporting events around. Simply download your ticket from your ticket account or the Huskers app and save to your mobile phone wallet before you leave home. Scan at the gate and enjoy the game. Go Big Red!
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office, 402-413-2400, the number to dial. Dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. Chat room is up, and they're having some fun in there again tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they were loving the smack talking going on the golf course between Jay Moore and Danny Woodhead. Jay saying that, hey, it's out there. Look, the scores are out there.
He admitted, he said, yeah, Danny's beaten me a couple times. I've beaten him a couple times. So,
oh, that's funny. And then a lot of people going on and on about the name of the Washington football team. Not a lot of people liking a lot of those names that you threw out there.
Huh?
Nope. Oh. So that'll be interesting to see how they roll that out. But yeah, seems like the Washington Nighthawks in memory of the Omaha Nighthawks.
They were a kind of a very short-lived semi-pro football team. Did not last very long. Got a really cool story that I saw today. A guy by the name of Donato Dominguez. When he was age 6, he had his left arm amputated when a wall collapsed on it, trapped it beneath some rubble for a couple of hours until his dad, who was a former professional basketball player, finally was able to rescue him and get him out. So he has his arm amputated. 11 years later, he's been offered a basketball scholarship to Tennessee State. So he has one arm, but he's good enough that Tennessee State has offered him a scholarship. Isn't that an amazing story?
That's so cool. Love stories like that.
That is so cool. His dad was such a really good player. And Tennessee State's had some good teams down through the years. So.
Yeah, they have.
What a cool thing. So that's something to look at. I love seeing, yeah, I'm with you. I love seeing things like that. And obviously, you don't just offer a guy a scholarship. You obviously see something that you think he can help you out.
Absolutely. That's so cool. Can't wait to follow that story. Hey, when Dr. Chatters was here, I'm shocked you didn't geek out over his brother being in the Space Force, since you're a big fan of the space stuff, right?
I am. You know, when he first said that, I chuckled because Steve Carell had a series on Netflix titled Space Force. It was terrible. And I love Steve Carell from The Office and from Anchorman and all the movies that he's done. It was a really bad series. So if you pull it up on Netflix, don't bother. It's really bad. And it's called Space Force, and it's about him commanding the Space Force. So that was my first thought when Dr. Chatters brought up Space Force. I'm like, oh, Steve Carell's terrible show on Netflix. So that's why I had to keep from chuckling when that came out there. A couple people excited about the McGowans. They're ready to watch the McGowans play some hoops, right?
You know, we were just talking about the basketball talk. So, Andy Harris brought up about can't wait to watch the McGowans play together. And Coach Hoiberg said that, that with Trey and Bryce, that when Bryce has had some of his big days, it's been Trey
setting him up,
finding him. When he's got the hot hand, it's Trey that's feeding him the ball. So, they played a lot of ball together. And this was, it's just such a cool story that Trey really wanted Bryce to do his own thing. You know, this, what's best for me might not be best for you. But, you know, the fact that so far it's working out so well and they're loving getting to play together, I'm with you. I can't wait to watch them play together and see kind of how that unfolds on the basketball court. And, you know, a couple people talking about excited to see both teams. I think there's going to be some excitement around both of these basketball teams. I think we could potentially see 2 tournament teams here in Lincoln this year.
I think fans will absolutely be clamoring to get back into PBA after not being able to go last year to watch them play at all, to get in there and watch those teams play. And yeah, I need to see more of the men before I'm going as far as you are with NCAA tournament team. Obviously you have a chance, but I need to see a little bit more. But I do think the women, with what they have coming back and adding Jazz Shelley, who you talked to earlier, I think that's a big bone for them. I think they got a chance.
I do too. I mean, I think they're going to have some matchup. People are going to have a hard time matching up with them. They've got a lot of shooters and a lot of talent there, and so many people coming back again. Like it seems to be a lot of teams here benefiting from that. I don't know if everybody across the country is benefiting from that, but Nebraska seems to be in a lot of sports, and the women's basketball team definitely is one of those. But I just think with the men and how tough that the Big Ten is, there's a lot of teams that get in that they give the nod to because of the conference that they play in. So if you can steal a few and you know, protect home court and several and you know, take care of business in the non-conference, you're going to have a really good opportunity that a lot of teams with your record and your schedule wouldn't, you know, elsewhere.
The men will have that exhibition game with Colorado, that charity exhibition. That is going to be on Halloween, October 31st. It's a noon tip. That's a Sunday. They'll actually have their exhibition game a couple days before that on Wednesday against Peru State. So that's when they get their thing going. Somebody just texted in and said Jake Myers got another hit in Kansas City. I'm sure there's some Husker fans out there watching him. He's gotten back-to-back starts in that series down in Kansas City, and I'm still working on getting Jake on the program. So I put on another call today. So
he's kind of busy, you know?
Well, I know, and I don't think they've had a day off since, but he could take a 15-minute phone call in the afternoon, right? Come on.
I've read a couple articles just about the energy that he's bringing to this ball club.
They're already loving him.
Yeah, and just that kind of feeding off of that, and you can tell he's kind of trying to relish, you know, the opportunity that he's been given, just how hard he's playing, and you know, running on the triple, what he thought was a triple, but then ended up being a home run, and then getting pumped up about the grand slam, I mean, which everybody obviously loves to hit a grand slam, but you can tell the energy. He's providing a spark for that team.
He is, and that's a good team. That's a team that's got a chance to be a World Series team. They're that good again. A lot of people, they don't like that because the Astros had the cheating scandal a couple years ago.
That's all gone. All those people are gone.
I don't want to let Will Bolt live that up because he's a big Astros fan, so I always mention that when I'm around Coach Bolt for that. All right, great show tonight. Tomorrow night we're going to talk some nutrition, right?
Yes.
Dave Ellis.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier, just about you know, how Nebraska is leading the way in nutrition, and this new facility is going to be unbelievable. But we'll have a full podcast out with Dave talking about fall camp, keeping these guys healthy, keeping that weight on that they've worked so hard to keep on, but kind of going back and where it all started. But we'll have a little preview of that for you guys coming up tomorrow night.
Practice report tomorrow night as well. Offensive coordinator Matt Lubick, who we've not heard from in 2 weeks, will meet with the media after practice
What's
tomorrow.
the number one question tomorrow?
It's going to be about running backs. It's going to be about the wide receiving rotation. He's going to get that quite a bit.
The backup quarterback.
And we'll just see probably where the backup quarterback spot stands as well. And then we'll have Scott Frost here on Thursday night for a full hour. So get your comments, questions ready for him in our first football show of the year. That'll do it for tonight's show. Thanks to Jessica, to Mike, to Andrew, to all of you. Come on back tomorrow night. We'll have some more fun.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the